Hello and welcome to
Sestra-Tainment.
Sestra-Tainment. I'm Lenora.
And I'm D.
And we're coming to you today in regards to everything entertainment. So, sis, you are up first this week.
Yes.
What you got?
I want to talk about the best worst movie that I just watched. It's not a good movie at all.
Okay.
But the reason that it's not a good movie is not like it's just a thrown together movie. It's based on a true story about this guy's life. And I feel like he just didn't have the money to be able to make it a good film, I guess.
Okay.
That's what I feel like. Where like it's not good. But I'm not trying to say that this guy's life was horrible, but it was not a good movie. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it. It's called Soul on Fire.
Okay.
And you can watch this on Netflix. This is like I don't even know how to explain it. It's not a Lifetime movie or a Hallmark movie, but it gives you that kind of
vibe.
Okay. Yeah. But it could be on Tubi or maybe Freevee. It could be on some free streaming thing. Definitely not for Netflix to be.
Look who showed up and wanted to say hi.
Hi, Cheeky Weeky.
So for anyone the dog is he definitely wanted to be a part of the conversation today. Yeah. So if you're looking at us on YouTube, you will see Chico.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so what it is there is this one guy. His name is John O'Leary. John O'Leary, he actually does construction. He's a construction worker. And how it starts off is him talking to somebody about, they were coming to ask him questions. They were asking questions about his sister or something. And then you see him have flashbacks going back into talking about his sister. And was like, yeah, she threw water on my face when my body was on fire. And it's like, what? He's a little bad kid. Nobody has to watch this. I mean, if you want to watch it to support this guy because he did go through a lot of stuff, definitely watch it. But I'm not saying that I'm not saying D said go watch this. No, I'm not saying that at all.
Okay.
He talks about how he was just a bad kid. Well, not really a bad kid, but a mischievous kid.
Getting into things.
He sees some boys with some gasoline. They're over by the river. They got the gasoline can. They're putting it out. And then another one lights a fire. And they're like, woo, it's fire. Okay. So I guess men are just still cavemen, excited about fire. So now this kid gets home and he grabs a piece of cardboard. So he's in the garage. He grabs a piece of cardboard and he lights a piece of cardboard. He's watching it burn. Then he puts it down in the garage and then grabs the gas can and proceeds to pour gas on it. Cut to, it's like a camera with nothing but flames, nothing but like CGI flames. And then you could see him screaming, ah! And then you look at his brother and then he's looking at his sisters. That is not good.
So the flames and everything, you could just tell it's terribly made.
Yeah, it's like you're supposed to be seeing through the boy's eyes. So there's flames everywhere, but they're not.
He caught himself on fire.
He caught himself on fire. He dropped the gasoline. He had the cardboard paper on down that he just burned, and he grabs the gas can, and when he goes to pour it, slips out of his hand because he's so little and the can's so big. Now he's on fire. The house is on fire, thinking everybody's going to die. The older brother had to go and get the dog and bring the dog back out. The dog's wheezing. And then his little sister actually goes because she sees he's still on fire. The brother is trying to put it out as best he can. And she goes, she has a cup. And so she keeps going to the sink and getting water and then running back out and pouring it on his face. So that's why he said my sister saved my life and my face when I set myself on fire. Now, it's supposed to be his journey about his parents not babying him.
Okay.
So it's like he's went through some stuff. He lost some fingers. and everything. So he comes home from the hospital, and his sister, his oldest sister, is like, "Mom, like, I want to feed him." And the mom's like, "So you gonna feed him for the rest of his life?" And the sister was like, "I don't know, maybe." Like, and the mother said, "Just let him sit there and eat. He has to learn how to do it himself." So then you see him, and he has like his hands are like this, and he's trying to pick it up and trying to eat and everything. But he's not complaining. He's not complaining.
Gotcha.
The one thing that I thought was a little jacked up was the mother trying to make it as normal as possible for her son. Decides to tell him, "Hey, don't forget you have your piano lesson today."
Really?
How you gonna walk, Lieutenant Dan? You ain't got no legs. How is he gonna play the keyboard and he got no fingers? Oh my God. And then when they show the fingers, it's like, I think they show his actual hands, like the actual man who's
that story's about.
They show his actual hands, but then it goes to a further away with the actors, and the actors are like, they're just like this. So you'll be able to see like
the other parts
and stuff like that. You can tell they just have gloves on.
Yeah, that they didn't do anything
like
to computer graph and make it look like.
Yeah, or else they have like their hand like this, and then there's a prosthetic hand, a fake hand that's like that or whatever. Well, like this. Yeah. So it's like that's kind of jacked up that the mother did that. Then fast forward to now, the father has Parkinson's. So now she gets sadder and sadder. Hey, son, take your nubs, go play the keyboard, go play the piano. Because this is your day to do it. I don't care. Everybody, the mother says everybody in this house plays piano, has piano lessons. Nothing has changed. He's just like, are you kidding me? Like, yeah. But they do show him later on playing something.
So he can't play the piano now?
Yeah. I mean, like, he struggles to play it, but yeah, he can. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the thing. But yeah, then it's like the Parkinson's from the dad. And so the dad, all right, I don't know none of these people in this cast. Well, I knew William H. Macy.
Okay, yeah. Who's he playing?
He's in here. He's playing Jack Buck. So apparently back in I want to say it was like 2000s or something like that.
Okay.
Wait, it might have been the 80s. It might have been the 80s. I couldn't be wrong. But
that's a big difference.
Yeah, no, I had to think about it because I remember seeing something. It was 2008 when the movie started, and then he goes back and thinks.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah. So the kid and everybody there was big Cardinals fans for baseball.
Yeah.
So Jack Buck, who's played by William H. Macy, is the announcer who announces on the radio and during the game and stuff like that. So, everybody loves him. So even John, who is the main character, even John was like, listening to him and everything. And he actually came to come see the boy. So I thought that was cute. This dude, whose name is Devon Franklin, he plays Nurse Roy. I've never seen this guy before in my life. Okay. He plays Nurse Roy. He goes to this movie is so bad. He goes to John, like little John, after he's already bandaged up. All you see is like his face like this, right? Mm-hmm. And he says, "Your name is John? Well, I'm gonna call you Boy, like Wonder Boy." And I was like, that gives me like racist undertones. Mind you, Nurse Roy is a black man, and John O'Leary is a white kid. But it just, every time he would say, "Oh yeah, boy, we gonna walk down this hallway, and you trying to give up on me, boy, and you gonna do what I say, boy." And I was just like, I can't. It got to the point where I was laughing every time that he said boy. And then when he went away from the screen, then I was like, oh man, all right, we're done with him. And then you see him again, and you're just
right back.
It was, yeah, he's just like, yeah, you gonna walk like I said, boy. Oh, I just hated every second of that. I mean, I was cracking up laughing because.
But just to be clear, the guy who this happened to is the one who wrote it.
Yes.
And made it, directed it, all of that. So he's the one that put in there that he's being called boy.
Yes. Now, this is the thing. I don't know how true this true story is.
Okay, got it.
Because if it's true, it's like one thing after another of like horrible things that happen. Yeah. But the father is the one thing I was going to tell you about. The father, he is played by John Corbett. He was actually one of the guys that was on. I think he was
John Corbett. He was on Sex and the City.
Yeah, but he was on Sex and the City.
He's the one from Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yeah. So yeah, Denny O'Leary, that man cannot cry on screen. He can't, and he shouldn't keep trying because he's like.
He was trying. So eyes blinking, he's trying to make the water come, but it just wasn't happening.
But then it was like, so like when somebody's starting to cry, their eyes like water up, they well up. He just
like, but you have to explain this for the podcast. Nobody has seen it.
Okay, I'm sorry. His face is scrunched up. All right, his face is scrunched up. He is just there's nothing happening. There's no waterworks.
Right.
There's a little bit of water on the bottom of his eyes.
You know what he should have done? He should have either used some chili peppers or something, get some onions, or he should have bit his tongue.
I've seen that they say that some people will take Vicks and put it right here.
Oh yeah, putting some Vicks underneath your eyes.
Yeah, because it makes
water up. And I mean, probably burn too.
Maybe it wasn't in the budget, but he didn't do any of that.
Yeah, you couldn't.
And then it would be like his cracked up voice, like, I just wanted to make sure that you're okay, son. And he's like, you're gonna be good. Okay,
I like him as an actor, but yeah, I think he only has a certain range.
His range is him. I think that his range is just him being himself.
I don't think you might be right.
Yeah, because every time that he plays somebody, the Sex and the City, and also
Big Fat Greek.
Yeah, Big Fat Greek Wedding. Yeah, same person.
Other than one eats no meat.
Yeah. What do you mean you don't like meat? You don't eat no meat. Yeah. So yeah, right. It's okay. Leave lamb. But yeah, so that happens. It is. I don't know. It's literally the best movie.
And why do you say best?
The best, worst movie.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. So when it comes to worst movies, it's the best of the worst.
Yeah, because after a while, you start to look at it, and you're just like, man, he tried. Bless his heart.
Yeah.
It's I see it, like, I can tell that he did not take his time, or he did not have the proper funding, or I don't know.
Okay. And you saw this on what? You said you couldn't remember.
It's on Netflix.
Wait, this movie is on Netflix?
This movie is on Netflix.
I thought you were saying the Tubi and Freebie, but
no, it's what it needs to be on. That's a streaming service. It needs to be on.
Oh my God. Now you're making me want to just watch like 5 minutes of it.
I need you to watch the whole thing so you can just, because you have to see him be like, seriously? When his mom says he got piano lessons. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
oh my God.
Yeah. Well, you're telling this to like a 10-year-old boy.
Right.
You're telling a 10-year-old boy who just lost his fingers.
I'll fast forward to that part, watch it, and then I'll be done.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
about all.
Yeah, it does go a lot of back and forth, but it's supposedly what he ends up doing was he never wanted to talk about what he went through. So now that he's older and he was talking to different people, he realized that the beauty in his disfigurement has actually helped him, as well as is willing to help other people.
Okay. All right.
That's the whole story. That's not what I get out of it, but that's
his explanation of the story.
Yeah, that's how, I can kind of see that, but it's like, no.
Okay.
But yeah, so if anybody wants to watch it, it is on Netflix. Literally the only two actors that I knew were William H. Macy, John Corbett. I don't know any of these other people.
All right, got it.
I ain't never seen none of these other people before in my life, but I don't know. Maybe I've seen them on something else and just didn't know it. But yeah, check it out, Netflix.
All right, sounds
Best
good.
worst movie, 2026.
Oh, you got me coughing. Okay, so I have one or two things. You tell me which one you want to. I mean, one of these we left off saying we were going to talk about, and we haven't talked about it yet. And I don't know if you remember. Do you remember what it was?
I remember us saying that we need to talk about something, but I don't remember what it was now.
America's Next Top Model.
America's Next Top Model. Oh, yeah.
Do you want to talk about that? Or can we remember it?
I don't recall that. What did I do with it? Yeah, we can talk about. Let's talk about this. What was the other thing?
No, the other one was just going to be something totally different that I was going to talk about.
Oh, no. Let's talk about Tyra's crazy self.
Okay. So I took no notes on this TV.
You don't have to because it's Speak Sports.
That's what I was going to say is that I think I was so enthralled in this 3-part series on Netflix about Tyra Banks that not even about Tyra Banks. Let me go back. The original documentary, docuseries was supposed to be about Miss J. So what had
Yes. See, I didn't know that. See, you giving me information I didn't even know.
Yes. So originally they started off about Miss J, and it was because Miss J had a stroke. And so they were like, oh, we need to tell Miss J's story. We need to talk about America's Next Top Model. We need to go into all the things. Like, how did you become the man who is teaching women how to walk? Like, how is that? How did you get there? So in the process of talking about Miss J and starting the process of that, and then pulling people together and talking about America's Next Top Model, because that's the way people know Miss J, it became a Tyra bashing type conversation when she wasn't involved in the project at all. So it was more like the girls that they were bringing up, and some of them, you heard them, they were talking about Miss J. Oh yeah, Miss J this, and you know, the consoling that Miss J would do, or, you know, sometimes holding them accountable and not saying the most appropriate things, whatever. So all of that became a point that they said, you know what, Tyra, you might want to be a part of this documentary because you're coming up quite a bit. And people have never heard you say your piece. And you don't talk to Miss J anymore. And you don't talk to J. What's the other J? Mr. J and Miss J. Okay, I just forgot. But I thought the other J wasn't Mr. J during the show.
J. Alexander.
J. Alexander, right. And so, and Nigel and all of that, like the whole thing. Yeah. So based on all that, they said, do you want to finally speak? And she said, yes. And that's kind of when it morphed into an America's Next Top Model documentary.
She should have kept her mouth shut.
Instead of a Miss
She needed a lawyer. She needed a lawyer for this.
So the documentary goes into a lot of different scenarios. Honestly, I watched it so long ago now. It's well over a month ago. I don't even remember which story was in part 1, part 2, or part 3. But let's just say that there was a lot going on. Now, mind you, this was the 90s, 2000s, early 2000s.
I think I remember which was what.
Oh, go ahead.
Like the first episode was about the girl, was it Danielle, the black girl with the gap?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The white girl with the gap.
Okay. Yeah. Both of them ended up needing to go to dentists, which they were like, who changes their whole like mouth for TV?
And then also, what was the name? Shauna, the one who had
that wasn't the first one.
Oh, that was the second one then?
It might have been the second one, but I know it wasn't the first episode.
Okay.
But when was the black girl who ended up shaving all her hair off because they messed up her hair?
Oh, that was in the beginning.
That was in the beginning too. So Shauna might have been the third. I don't know.
Well, no, because I don't think there was each model or anything. Because they kind
of covered all the stories.
Yeah, they covered all the stories. I just know that when it first starts, they talk up to the ladies who were actually the models when it first starts.
Okay, gotcha.
So I do remember that, but
yeah.
check.
I was going to say, if you have notes, then definitely, because this is what I will say as my highlights that I recall. I recall the girl. So there was a Black girl who had a gap, and her being told that she needed to go to the dentist to get the gap closed because she would not be able to be a successful model with the gap, which now she said, you flip the script. Now they're telling people, and they even did it on America's Next Top Model at some point. They were like, oh, you should your gap is gorgeous. Like, and she was like, wait a minute. They're now telling people their gap is gorgeous, where with me, they were saying, no, you have to get it closed or you're getting kicked off the show. And she did not get it closed because she got it closed a little bit, but she loved her gap. So she was like, no, I don't want to do that. It's my personality. So then you had the other girl who did decide to have the dentist do the work in her mouth. And that girl still to this day is having dental issues.
She says her mouth is still messed up. Because didn't he take like a whole tooth out?
They took a whole tooth out because she had a tooth that like comes out from the top. They took the tooth out. They did something else, or maybe it was on both sides, but she just said that her mouth has never been the same. She doesn't still have the right type of bite.
Yeah.
Like all of these things. And she was, I mean, who are these hack doctors that they got anywhere, dentists to do all this stuff? You have another African-American girl who was in New York. Of course, this was taking place in New York. She was thrilled. She was excited and so happy to be chosen. And then she sits in a chair and a bunch of white women are trying to do her hair. But in the process of them trying to do her hair, they mess up her hair. They cut it in a weird way. She ends up having to just shave it all off and go bald, and thought that Tyra would be her advocate, but she wasn't. Just like the one with the gap, thought Tyra would be her advocate, and she wasn't. And then we have the situation where someone was basically sexually assaulted, and nobody seems to want to take accountability. They recorded the entire thing. They recorded her having to call her boyfriend and tell her boyfriend what she did, but she had been drinking. She does not remember what took place, but the production staff watched what took place.
Yes,
knew that was a shower with the guy, knew these things were happening. And instead of stopping anything, they were like, no, you signed a contract to say that we follow everything that you do. So
yeah, but then also was that that the production company invited the guys. They asked the girls, hey girls, the guys have been driving you around on scooters all day.
Yeah.
Go ahead and come over. And we'll just bring all the alcohol and drugs or whatever for you. It's probably just
and y'all just have a good time.
Yeah. But also the Tyra screaming match when she was screaming at the one girl.
Yeah.
My mother didn't even scream at me like this. So why are you screaming?
I never screamed at anybody like this in my life.
Yeah.
We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you.
That's like it's like you're screaming, but you're saying that nobody screams at you and you don't scream, but you're screaming right now.
Right. But and they said that everybody else on the set was like, whoa, like we were not. But there was a lot of body shaming, a ton of body shaming.
What is that lady's name? Janice
Dickerson.
Janice Dickerson.
She would just be like,
she does not look okay right now.
Oh, really?
You her to step away from the table and not the one you eat from.
Okay.
I think she's done a lot to her face where she's starting to look like the cat woman.
I was going to say she's starting to look like the cat lady.
Yeah. Because she does have that
filler.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Too much probably pulled and nipped and tucked.
Yeah.
So it happens. But so I just know that it kept my attention. That's why I couldn't take any notes.
Oh, absolutely.
It was keeping my attention the whole time. And then what it was is it was almost like, I don't know how to describe it, but when Tyra would talk, it was like, they were like, oh, well, now looking back, like, what did you know about what took place with Shauna and the guy or whatever? And, oh, well, that was production. Like, that was the producer. Like, that's not my realm. And that was all she would say.
Well, and first of all, she said, they was like, do you remember what happened with Shauna? Do I remember? I don't
they were
recall. And then it's like, how do you not recall when you showed, like, you had all of this stuff happen? Then you had the Tyra show to bring back the people.
all these people,
And then when you brought back all the people, you asked her in the audience, like while she's in front of the audience, about what happened. And then she said, "Yeah, I don't want to think about it.
Bringing it all up again.
Like that." And then you proceed to show the video for all of the world to see again.
Even if they had never seen it the first time.
Yeah, they'd never seen it the first time.
Now they know it.
You don't recall, but you don't recall. I don't quite remember. And then she's like, "Oh yeah, that was production." Weren't you an executive producer? Come on.
What would have been better is, like you said, for her not to have said anything. Or, well, I can't even say for her not to have said anything, because the way people were cussing her out in the documentary, we would still have a very terrible view of Tyra. So either way, you're going to have a bad view of her. But I think that knowing her disconnect and her ability to compartmentalize and be like, well, that has nothing to do with me. So I don't know what you're talking about. Like, and I don't know if part of that is the privilege of having been successful and rich and have, your ability to do things your way your whole life. So therefore you're like, I don't know these struggles that these people are talking about. I had terrible things happen to me and I survived it. And they used to talk about me being the Black girl. And I'm the one that was the first one on Sports Illustrated. And they used to do this. And I'm the first one that did that. So yeah, boo-hoo. So what? Like, we all have terrible things that happen to us. Maybe that's how she feels. She's just like, look, there's terrible things that happen to us all. So what? You get over it. You pick yourself up. You dust yourself off. You do what you got to do. And you don't play a victim. Maybe that's how she feels, because that's exactly how she came across. Is somebody who just feels that.
Yeah, she just she came across as somebody who has lost, like, she doesn't, like, she lost where she came from type thing. Like, she lost the whole thing.
That's what I said. Yeah. It's like, and a lack of empathy.
Right? Yeah, that's what she doesn't have any empathy. She's not a humble person. She's just like, well, I mean.
Yeah, and then she's like, well, but no, she was humble, because she said, if you remember, Sestra, she said, no, I want people to call me on my stuff, because you never know the day when you might be called on yours. And I was just like, so you still turned it around and made it that it had to be about everybody else. What would have also been better is she had just said, look, y'all, I was young, like these women were young. I was young.
Yeah.
It was the 90s. We didn't have the mentality we now have.
Exactly. I was young and dumb.
I was dumb. I was young. There was things that were going on. And when Janice would say things, you could look and see that I was disturbed by that. You could look and see that I truly did want to create a show where these girls who would normally not get the modeling attention could get that, whether they were heavier, whether they were a minority, if they didn't have a size 0 body. Like, I truly was working on that. And you can see that in that show. The issue is that I allowed the times, right? The whole thing of Fear Factor was going on. So now production is in the CBS, the stations, and they want us to add more Fear Factor kind of stuff in there. If somebody said they were afraid of whatever, then yes, like that terrible scenario where the girl's mom died from somebody shooting her in the head, and then they made the girl act like she was shot in the head for a modeling shoot.
What about when they had everybody cosplay a different race?
Yes, they had everybody cosplay a different race. Oh, now you're going to switch races. So a Black person is going to be Asian. A white person is going to be Black. This is going to be that. Da, 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 da. All of that is stuff that we know today won't fly. But back then, obviously, because now,
was it obviously? Because I want to know what happened back in the day. I never watched America's Next Top Model.
No, what I'm saying is this. Back in the day, different things could be said. You could say the N-word on TV back in the day on CBS in the 70s or early 80s.
No, that's the 70s.
But no, what I'm saying is that as time evolves, things change. So if somebody in the 90s would be like, oh, heck no, you can't do that. And it's like, right, because now CBS wouldn't even let you do that. Back then CBS would, but now they wouldn't. Just like now, they wouldn't let somebody cosplay a different race like they would have then, because back then, it was all whatever got people to view.
Yeah, but then also the girls who were doing it felt uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do.
Not all of them,
race
because one of the girls was like, "Oh, I felt great black. Like that's my
It's
thing."
because she was black. You know, that's why. Because she wanted to be black. She wanted to go around. They say the N-word a couple of times.
I don't know if she did all that. I just think that it was more
she wanted to know what it felt like to be empowered.
Yes, maybe that's what it is.
But there was others that were. Yeah, but there were others that were uncomfortable.
Yes,
was like, I don't want to do this. But now it's either I do this or I go home.
Right. And the one who, when there was a time where they had to be around, what was it? The guys from another culture. I can't remember what it was, but one of the guys was handsy with her.
Yeah.
He was like, and she stopped, and you could see she was visibly upset. And they were like, get back in there. Like, this is what you have to do if you're a model. And honestly, I would say back then that's true. You would probably have men treating you inappropriately, or like the president says that he has treated women in the past, and you had to deal with it because you had no voice. It's a very different time. And I mean, I lived through it, so I know it's a very different time now than it was then. And so now you would have the ability to speak up. You would have the, person that you could go to for whatever and say, look, this is what's going on to make me uncomfortable. And that person would probably be kicked off the set. Back then, they would have just been like, chick, you are wasting daylight. Can you get back over there? I don't care if he smacks you on the butt. Deal with it. We got work to do.
And it looks authentic. It looks so authentic. Every time that he palms your butt, it looks like y'all are a couple.
Yeah, exactly. But my whole thing too is that if Tyra had just came out and said, look, it was different times. I'm not making any excuses. I'm just saying it's different times. And those of you who lived through those times know that they were different times than they are now. So for these young kids who just started during COVID and they're in their teens and 20s watching something that was made years ago, have them look at Archie Bunker. Have them look at the Jeffersons, have them look at Good Times and see all the things that could have been said back then that you cannot even say today on TV. You can barely get away with them on Facebook. And so, and then realizing that times evolve, times change. And in that time, it didn't appear to be as volatile as it is in this time. But now looking back on it, absolutely, I would have done so many things different. Like, that's all she had to say, is that if she would have just said, I would have done so many things differently, that in itself wouldn't have made her appear to be as privileged as she is. And she doesn't even live in the United States anymore. Like, so she's disconnected from that.
Pretty sure, because ain't nobody want her to be over here. There's probably some top models that's going around here. Is like, when I see her, I'm gonna see her. Because they were talking about how they won or they were on the show, and then it was like, oh, you're a top model contestant winner. We have nothing for you because you are a TV celebrity. You're not an actual model.
But you have to think about it. None of the people from American Idol came out and said this either, but I guarantee you that there were some record labels who were like, I'm not going to hire you. You were from freaking American Idol.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're from X Factor. No, you are a commodity. You are a sideshow. Like, this is not about real music. It's not about real talent. And I'm sure that that's what they were saying to these girls. It's like, no, you were on the show to be like, you are a personality. You're not a model. Like, come on, And none of them had the right body shape anyway. A lot of them didn't have it anyway, for them to be able to truly be a model outside of that one contract with Wilhelmina. But then Wilhelmina wasn't even sending them anywhere, or Ford, or whichever one it was.
Yeah. But so I did listen to a two podcast. Carlos King, I was listening to his podcast, and he had Takara on his podcast. And she was talking about, she was like, what a lot of the girls went through in their story. She said, it's not my story. She said, now granted, I can't say that Tyra set this up for me. She said, but I can tell you that when I left the show, that then it was like, hey, we want to reach out to you about being a curvy model. So then she went like Ashley Stewart or something like that. So she was like, that did open doors for me. Also, Eva.
Oh yeah, Eva. Yeah, I know you're talking about. I can't think of what her last name is.
Marcel.
I was going to say some with an M, but then I didn't.
I was about to say Mendez. Yeah,
Mendez.
Yeah, Eva Marcel. She was saying that she was like, I never had any issues. She was like, well, first of all, I wasn't even part of the show. She said, I wasn't even part of the casting call. I just heard about it and showed up when they were like calling people back.
Wow. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they were like, where did we see you last time? Like when they're going all around the different states.
Yeah.
And then they pick the girls and then they have them come back in again, I guess,
Yeah.
to start off the show. So they were like, so where did we see you at last time? She was like, well, I saw you. And the such and such center and blah, 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 blah. She was like, because I didn't wait in that line. I had to go to work. She's like, but then when I heard that they had something else, all I had to do is just hop in there and then see how it goes. But
oh, so that's how she got her way in, was cheating.
Yep, cheating.
But she's made a whole career out of it, though.
Exactly. But she said that she didn't have any problems with Tyra. She was like, I mean, I don't. She was like, I didn't have the same. Her and Takara sounded the same. They were like, we didn't have the same issues that Tyra did. The other ones did. But I also think that those two women are two women that ain't gonna take nothing.
Well, yeah, that too. But also, they are probably two of the most successful people to come out of that whole franchise.
Oh yeah.
So you now have a life and a career and things that are going on. Because I remember Takara, she moved on from that to doing oh gosh, what was it? It was where somebody was just a bunch of guys were trying to date her because it was like that Flavor of Love type of time.
Oh yeah. She
had a dating show where she ended up with a guy that I know.
Oh, okay.
At the very end, Takara ended up with a guy that I know that he used to go to my gym.
Oh, okay.
Yep, he used to go to my gym before he moved out to LA. And so I was like, is that Jason? Is that Jason? And he ended up winning. And I was like, yeah, he was super cute. So I could see why he ended up winning. But I say that to say that with them having the most success, and I don't know what Takara is doing right now. She looks amazing.
She said she's still doing Ashley Stewart and she got some other stuff. She was talking about bras and everything.
Okay, so she's like branching out too and maybe having some.
Yeah, she said she got her hands in a lot of things. What she said.
Yeah, and I mean, and that may be what you have to do is like take that opportunity, especially now, take that opportunity and do a podcast and make some sunshades and put your name on some wigs and you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah, just make it happen and go from there. And that's where Tyra would say, you're welcome. Yeah, right? Because she would be like, nobody would know of you if it wasn't for my idea. And
of course. Yeah.
I got dog hair all over me. Sorry.
But she was like, she lives in Australia now, and she was always talking about body positivity. She was like, and then just how bad is it that I made people do surgery and like dental surgery and things like that. Like I would never do that myself. And it's like, I'm looking at your nose.
Oh yeah, she has definitely a different nose. But no, I thought she was saying it from a perspective of for a TV show, she would never do it.
I
wasn't taking it that she was just saying
either one. Either one.
I was taking it that for a TV show, I would never do that because it is, But I mean, when you feel like that's your only option to stay, and this is the thing that's going to make you money so that you can live your life. Some of these people quit their jobs. They know they have to take care of their family. So like, how do you do all of that if you're not going to go all the way, if you're not going to give it 100%, and if you're making me feel like that's part of me giving it 100%, then I guess I have to do it,
Well, I would have definitely been Shauna and been right back at the Walgreens. Bringing up customers because no, absolutely not. You're not going to set me up for failure.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so that's it. I feel like we told y'all the highlights, a lot of the highlights, but
no, we didn't. We didn't even get into Mr. and Miss J and their drama.
Yeah, we didn't get into Mr. and Miss J, Nigel. Yeah, we didn't get into the drama of them with Tyra.
So basically, Tyra ain't talking to nobody.
And they ain't talking to her.
Yeah, and they ain't talking to her. The Mr. J and Tyra were like best friends. They were kind of like roommates for a while.
Yeah, he was doing her work, her makeup.
And then he was like, yeah, I just got to the point where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna step back from this. And after that, then it was like, she was like, did you see your contract? Because you're not. And you're gonna sit right here and I'm gonna ignore you until the cameras start rolling. Then I'm gonna be your best friend. And then when the cameras turn off, you're not even here.
I'm going to ignore you again. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then also with Miss J, with Miss J didn't really say anything about their on-screen dynamic.
No.
Really.
Mm-mm.
But did say I had a stroke, and she said she was coming to see me, and she ain't come to see me yet. She sent flowers.
Yet. Yeah.
So she sent flowers. And Nigel being like, yeah, he's like, he's basically saying Miss J was like about to die, and we came together.
Yeah, we came from all walks of the world.
Yeah, he's like, I live in the UK or whatever. So then it was like, but she can't even come over. He was like, I know, I guess she's, and I think he said something like, how, I guess she's just extremely busy. I didn't think anybody could be that busy to not go and see somebody that you called his dear friend.
Yeah. And Nigel was always the nice guy too, like on the show and everything. And even with this documentary, like he didn't say anything horrific, but when all of them got fired, we didn't go through all that. Like it's a lot. So y'all still have a lot to watch if you do decide to look at this documentary. But
it's like 3 episodes
on it. Yes, it's 3 episodes, so docuseries, and and all of them are throughout it, and it's a roller coaster ride. It's some stuff. So yeah,
that it is.
Yeah. So all right, well, go ahead and talk about what you got.
Oh yeah, you got to say what it's on. It's on Netflix.
I said that at the beginning, but yes, right. I'm sorry. It's on Netflix.
Called Reality Check Inside America's Next Top Model.
Yeah, that's the word. Yep. We just started talking about it. I forgot to give the title of it. All right, there we go. All right. So what you got next?
I want to talk about this movie that I watched. Ella McCay.
Oh, I started to see some of it, but then I didn't finish watching it. But yeah.
Okay. So the narrator's voice is the voice of Marge Simpson, which is that actress. Wait, hold on a second. I have
the actress that plays Marge Simpson.
Yes.
Voice? Oh, I didn't put that together.
She is she's the narrator.
Yeah.
Who is also Ella McCay's assistant, basically. Her name is Julie Kavner, and she goes by Estelle in the movie. So just to go down the cast, great cast. You got Emma Mackey, who plays Ella McCay. You have Jamie Lee Curtis, who plays Helen, which is Ella McCay's uncle. You have Albert Brooks, who plays Governor Bill, who is Ella's boss. You have Spike Fern, who plays Casey, who is Ella's brother. You have Woody Harrelson, who plays Eddie, who is Ella's dad.
Okay.
You have Rebecca Hall, who plays Claire, who is Ella's mom.
Mm-hmm.
You have Ayo Edebiri, who plays Susan, who actually ends up being like a love interest of Ella's brother Casey. Okay. Kamal Nanjiani.
Oh yeah,
he is in there. He's actually Trooper Nash, so he is actually the state trooper that's with the governor and the assistant governor and everything.
Oh, wow.
Going different places. Yes, that's what I'm saying. You got some good people in here. It's pretty.
And once I looked up who does Marge's voice, I was like, oh yeah, that lady. I knew that. Yeah, I knew that.
But yeah, so basically what this is, it's a very level-headed young woman who strives to be the best that she can be and becomes governor of a New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania type state, because this is all fiction, so they don't tell you where it's at. It's like New Jersey, Pennsylvania. I don't know. But she is 34.
Okay.
And she is trying to juggle her family drama and issues and everything, and her relationship with her husband.
Okay.
And with her brother, who is slightly on the spectrum. Her father, who's a womanizer. God, that's the whole part of it. And her husband, who is jealous of her.
Wow.
Yeah. That's sad when your husband is jealous of you. She is her boss, who is just like, hey, you're going to take my place. You're going to do a great job, but you need to listen to me. Don't do anything that you think you should do. do what I say you should do and just listen to the people because they'll just steer you in the right way. Like you keep talking about stuff that they're going to keep putting down. So you're just going to basically have a filibuster and they're still going to say no. Don't even worry about it. Just let the people do what they want to do. And you just be the face. And she's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
Sound right. Yeah.
I don't think so. But so her boss, Bill, he actually, like I said, he's governor. He is going and he's moving up to something else. He's moving up to politics somewhere else. And she ends up getting his job. Now that she has his job, she's trying to like juggle everything. So her brother, who she's always been there for her brother. They've always been like really close. Mm-hmm. And her mother passes away from like cancer when she was younger. The brothers, like something happened. So it's like something is constantly always happening. Now,
okay.
Yeah. So the brother, she's like, oh, he's just got out of college. You know, he's good. So I'm going to go check on him. I haven't talked to him a couple of days. Let me make sure he's okay. I don't know if he's agoraphobe or whatever. So she goes over there. He's just typing away on the computer. And she's like, hello, I'm here. I'm trying to see what's going on with you. Like, when was the last time you left the house? When have you done this? He's like, I'm just ordering food. Like, I just got to do this. And he was like, can you please stop? He was like, I have, what did he say? He said, I have 2,100 people that are paying me $1,000 each to do this work, and I need to get it done. And she was like, she does the math. She was like, so you are, she's like, so you make $2 million a year? He was like, yeah.
Man, can I get back to work?
She's just like, but she's thinking like, I'm the governor and I don't even make $1 million, you know? So she's just like, oh my God. And then she ends up drugging herself because he has edibles. And she ends up drugging herself. So she's like, oh God, I can't go anywhere and do anything. I'm supposed to be making this big presentation. Her aunt is her rock. Jamie Lee Curtis is her rock. Her aunt's like, you want to go punch somebody in the face? I'll hold them for you. Like she's like, is this what you need? I'll help you do anything. Her aunt knows how much of a butthole her dad is. How her dad constantly over and over again cheated on, and this is her brother, constantly cheated on his wife.
Yeah.
Even while she was sick in the hospital dying of cancer.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, all of that. So like he wants to go and speak to Ella, and this is his sister, who's Jamie Lee Curtis, is just like, yeah, if you do anything wrong, I will cut your thing.
Wow.
Don't mess with her. She is absolutely fine. I'm so proud of where she's at. Like, I don't do this. And then what does he do? He does something, and now she's like, now I have to kill you. You know what I'm saying? She's about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think it's cute how you have Estelle, who is her assistant, also the narrator, who just is basically talking about everything that's going on in Ella's life. And like giving like, so like when you see her sitting there thinking, it's like, well, Ella was thinking, blah, 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 blah. So you just, you know, you have all of that. It's a cute movie. Wouldn't want to watch it again. But it was just a movie about nothing. It was just a movie for entertainment, like a
real storyline to it.
The storyline is just about that one girl in her life. There is no actual storyline. This is like if you were to, like, the whole world could be going on around her, and that would be the movie. And this would just be a side snippet of, like, let's go down and see who's in Whoville. Like, that's what this is. Like, you just get information about her. You get to see everything that she's going through. But then it's like, but this doesn't do anything for anything.
And it's no, like, redemption story, no story of her, like, of growth or anything. Like,
it is a story of
something. It's bothering me.
It's a story of her perseverance.
Okay, so it's perseverance, a story of Ella.
I don't know.
And I guess that's why they just gave it her name, because they're like, it's literally just literally about her and the characters in her life.
Her is literally just her. But yeah, that's all it is about her, everybody around her.
Yeah.
And basically it's like a fake reality show.
Okay.
Because everything that you're watching, it's just like you watch her get in the car and like while she's in the car, she's talking to this person. And then you see her, she goes to her brother's. Now she's talking to her brother. Now they're fighting back and forth. Now they're finding they're made up. Now she's high on the couch. Now she gets up. Now she's talking to people and stuff. So it's not anything where it's like, oh, this movie is great because it brings out this and that. No, it's just
or this big thing happened.
Yeah. No big thing happened. You just see her living her life.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I'm surprised a movie like that got, greenlit to be able to be made because it has no story.
I am surprised. I'm not surprised about this movie, but I'm surprised that last movie that I talked about got greenlit to be made. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, that one doesn't sound like, I just knew the whole time you explained it, I just knew it was a Tubi movie. That's why I was like, oh, okay.
No, Netflix. Over there. That one was Netflix. Now, Ella McCay is on Hulu.
Okay, gotcha.
Hulu. All right. Let me double check about this. Yeah, it's on Hulu, and you can definitely watch it. It's something I would say it's a cute movie if you just want to have something on for entertainment purposes. Something that's like lighthearted, nothing too deep, no real storyline. You're just watching a person live their life.
Yeah. Okay.
If you want a YouTube movie, this is a YouTube movie.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. All right. What do you have, sis?
So I have say that again.
I said, what do you have to wrap us up?
Oh, to wrap us up. Yeah. So I have the Oprah podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. So she ended up talking to the lady who was all of us know her first and foremost. She is the lady who was involved in the Coldplay scandal.
The Coldplay scandal
with the
yeah at the whatever the thing is.
So her name is Kristin Cabot, Cabot, and she was the one who was there with her boss Andy Bryant. So or Byron, sorry, Andy Byron, and her name is Kristin. So this whole podcast, she first of all did one piece with the New York Times, I want to say, where it was just like a story where she met with a reporter who was like, look, you really need to tell your side of things. And she was like, all right, fine, I'll tell my story. So she told some of it and she was like, I'll try to say it as best I can of what happened. And then people tore her apart even more. So now she's like, well, Oprah's team, Oprah knew of the story. She said, look, I watched the video once, but, whatever. Oprah's like, I've been in the news and talked about and demonized so much that I feel sympathy for when someone is going through that. So I don't look at it from a perspective of, oh my God, we need to make this, that, and the third and make commercials about it and do this and do that. So she was just like, I feel sympathy and empathy for a person. So she said that she called and the girl was like, nope, I'm not doing it because as soon as I said my piece, everybody's like, now she wants her 15 minutes of fame to last longer. And she was like, that's not it. It's just that my mom said that if you don't correct the narrative, then you're basically signing and co-signing to the narrative, right? So she was like, I can't do that. So therefore, she's like, I just have to speak my piece. So then Oprah's team kept calling and kept trying to get her, and then finally she was like, okay, only you. You're the only person that I will talk to, okay? So the story is that she was separated from her husband when this happened. Nobody knew that.
What does that have to do with anything? Wasn't he married?
No, let's listen.
Okay.
So I'm going to read this because we only have a short period of time, and I did take notes on this. So she said that she was separated from her husband for about 6 weeks before this concert. Then her boss at work 6 weeks before, they were talking and she said, I'm HR, he's the CEO. We were having lunch in the office, nothing inappropriate or anything, having lunch. And he was like, you seem a little down. Is everything okay? And she was like, well, my husband and I, we've separated and it's just, wearing on me, the kids, all of that. So he was like, I'm going through the same thing with my wife. And she was like, really? And he was like, yeah. She said, I just felt they had this perfect marriage, that you would see whenever they would show up at company events and stuff. So she was shocked that he was saying that. And she was like, oh, okay, no, I had no idea. And so she said, all of a sudden, the conversations started shifting towards them both going through being separated, what it's doing to the family, all of that. So in the process of that, they started having more personal, let's say, conversations. And there was a slight chemistry that was starting up, right? So her friend invites her to the Coldplay concert. She wasn't planning to go. Her friend said, look, I got 2 extra tickets. Do you want to go? And she was like, sure. She was like, well, bring somebody if you want to. Bring somebody. So she was like, all right. So she decided to invite her boss. And she was like, so I'll invite him. We, at this point, she said, and I don't know how true this is, she said, we have never even touched, kissed, anything inappropriate other than the normal, like tap each other on the shoulder, work stuff. She said, but I invited him because we were starting to feel feelings. And so I said, what better than to hang out at a concert? It's after work. We can relax. We can have a good time. It's going to be so anonymous. So anonymous, because she even said, listen, she said, you have to watch it. When you watch it, it kind of plays a whole different thing, because what she said was that the two of them even had said, because we are starting to get close, we need to talk to the board in the next couple of weeks so that way the board will know that this relationship is potentially going to start. Not that it has started. Listen, it's going to start. I can see your face. It's going to start. So we need to talk to the board so that way we can go ahead and make sure that you don't report to me anymore, that you report to somebody else. And then, because he was CEO, he's not going anywhere, but that's how they do it. Like, oh, now you'll still be the same role, but you report now to the chief financial officer versus the CEO directly, kind of thing. So anyway, they had already planned all this, talked about it, the whole 9 yards. They go to the concert. She said, now the crazy part about this is I get to the concert and my daughter texts me and says, hey, I'm so glad you're at the concert with your boss. No, she knew that she was going with the boss because, she was like, I ain't got nothing to hide. So from her child. So she was like, I'm so glad you're there. And guess what? Dad's there too.
Oh,
So her daughter is like, yeah, Dad's there. She was like, wait, your dad's here? And she was like, now she's looking around like, look, funny enough, her boss's name is Andy. Her husband's name is Andy. So she's like, oh, so she calls her husband Andrew. So she's like, so Andrew is here too? Like, okay. So Andrew is there with another woman because they're separated. So he's got his date. And they're at the Coldplay concert. She's showing up with her date at the Coldplay concert. Okay. And she was like, I didn't care if I bumped into him. I just thought it might be awkward. We just separated 6 weeks ago. So it could be awkward, but he's got his date. I don't care, good for him. So, and she still says that they were still friendly. They were going through the whole divorce amicably, like the whole 9 yards, right? So they get there. The concert section of where they were was standing only. There were no seats.
Okay.
She said that they were drinking alcohol and everybody's having a good time and they're having fun. And they're in this back cut area. So it's like the concert stuff, this back corner that's standing room only, that then you can go into like a suite or something. But like this was just a standing space. And she said, so we're there and we're just thinking, this is my favorite song, Yellow. So they're in the mood, they're swaying the whole 9 yards, not hearing anything about what the Coldplay guy is saying. And then all of a sudden they show up on the cam.
Okay.
And they both reacted the way they did. Now, what she said is that everybody thought they reacted the way they did because they were like, oh, they must be having an affair. She said, we never even heard him say that because we were both so mortified that we were caught on that camera because we haven't talked to the board yet. We haven't even told the board. So now we're being caught on camera, not because it's an affair. I'm separated, he's separated. It doesn't matter. It's about the fact that we haven't talked to the board. And she said in her first thought was, oh my God, my husband is here. He's going to see this on the cam. And Not that it's a bad thing, but like, he's such a private person. I don't want to embarrass him. We're doing really well with this divorce right now. I don't want to do anything where other people might see this and be like, oh, was that your wife? Because everybody didn't even know they had separated officially because it'd only been 6 weeks.
Okay.
So her very first thought was, oh my God, Andy. And that's why she turned. Then she said, as she had turned, she was like, oh my gosh, the board. Like, no, there's no way anybody would see this. Like, nobody else is going to see this. We're okay. Like, you know, and that's why he ducked, was, again, because I'm not supposed to be here with my HR lady. So that's the reason why she said they did it. Everybody thinks it's for the affair. It wasn't an affair. It was the first time she said they physically touched was at that concert. And she said, now there was some touching going on before that moment. At that concert, because we've been drinking and having a good time, and it just felt so anonymous. We're in this little cut, nobody's seeing us, and it's all these hundreds of thousands, you know, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people. So then she says that by the time she gets to her car, they just decide they're going to go, because they're like, we got to tell the board immediately. So they're just trying to get out and go and, you know, do what they have to do. They said, first thing in the morning, we'll meet with the board. By the morning, her phone had blown up. Because at first they were just thinking, well, yeah, it showed up, but who's going to really see it? Like, it's in this little concert. Only the people in this concert would see it. Had no idea that, guess how many people have watched that video?
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's like 8 million people.
No, much. Get into the billions.
Oh, wow.
No, well, let me say this. How many billion times do you think the video has been watched? And go very high. Go very high.
100.
Higher.
500?
Almost. At the point, and now it's probably even closer to 500 billion, but it had been watched over 300 billion times.
Oh, wow.
And Oprah was like, there are 8 billion people on the planet. So what is happening here? So basically, long story short, people watched it over and over and over and over. And some people were like, I just had it on a constant loop, that I just watched it probably 40 times an hour. Like, you know, just like watching this. And even Gail was like, yeah, I watched it a few times, because Gail was in the audience, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, the lady was like, everything that everybody thought it was about is not even what it was about. It wasn't about an affair. There was no affair. We hadn't even, like I said, physically touched before that. It was all about the fact that we were mortified that our significant others might see something like this and be embarrassed because everybody didn't know, or it was about the fact that we haven't even disclosed this and we can get in trouble with our jobs. And we was wrong.
No, but didn't she get fired?
She walked away. She said, she didn't say she got fired. She said she walked away because she felt like the attention that it was getting was blowing everything out of proportion. And she said, and plus it was my mistake. She said, I'm the HR lady that holds people accountable. And then I was doing something that I shouldn't have done. Like, I should have gone to the board before I even invited him out to dinner. Now, do you think the two of them are dating, or that there's some kind of thing going on with them? Do you think that they don't even talk to each other?
Right now?
Huh?
Right now?
Right now, yeah.
They're probably married.
No, that's where I thought it was going to go. But no, because guess what? He didn't say a peep when this all hit.
Correct.
Her husband even came out and said, hey, everybody, leave my soon-to-be ex-wife alone. Mm-hmm. We were separated. She's not a homewrecker. She's not all these things y'all are saying. It's fine. I was there with my own date. Like, it's totally okay. Nobody cared, because they were like, it doesn't matter if he says it was fine and you were separated. You're still a homewrecker because he was married. And this man never, ever, ever, ever came out and said he was separated. So while she's admitting it and she's saying it and her husband is saying it and she's getting threatened, like she said, literally people have threatened her life. Somebody gave out her home phone number. People have harassed her kids at work. She's gone through hell because
was he actually separated?
So Oprah asked that question and she said, I will not tell his story. All I will say is that he was not the man that I believed him to be, and he was not honest with me. So it seems as though when she said, oh, I'm separated, he was like, ding, ding, ding. This is my end to get with somebody here at the office I really wanted to get with anyway. And oh, by the way, she now had to walk away from her job. She's the messy woman, so nobody's hiring her. So she's just trying to struggle and figure out how she's living her life. She's like, why is it that the woman is always the one blamed? What about the man? If we're both here and we're both doing it and you're saying it's an affair, why am I the homewrecker? Why isn't he the one
exactly. That's true.
Like, why is it that I'm the bad person, but he's getting job offers from hundreds of other companies to be their CEO? And yet I can't even get a job because I decided to walk away and do the right thing. And oh, by the way, he never even came out and said anything about this situation. She did in the news article, but when she didn't say anything, everything blew up. And she's like, plus now he hasn't left his wife. She doesn't even know but she wouldn't say that he actually was separated. Okay. So it seems as though he lied about that. And he did not come out and say that he had even told her that, so that she could at least look a little better. Because if people had heard in the beginning, we were both separated, then people were like, oh, okay, next story. You know what I mean? Yeah. But instead, she's like, to this day, she's still dealing with it. And it was just a really good podcast. I wasn't planning to watch the whole thing, but it was a really good podcast of her just explaining everything. And when you hear it, you're just like, well, it does make sense. You're at work, you confide in somebody, they confide in you. You start realizing, oh, we can talk to each other about some things. And then some people just, fall in love fast. And so therefore it's like, oh, I'm really starting to get feelings for this guy, but I know I'm not supposed to do anything. So let's get in contact with the right appropriate people, but come to this concert with me. It'll be fun. It'll be our time to just go out for the first time and be anonymous. And that was the last thing that they got. And she said now she's just trying to figure out what's the lesson that I needed to learn. Why did I have to experience this? Why did my life have to be threatened? What God are you trying to say to me?
Well, I mean, maybe the lesson wasn't just for her. Maybe it was for her and other women. Maybe like, hey, because he said he's separated doesn't mean he's separated. You better wait for that divorce before you go ahead and do something with them.
And the other piece to it, too, is like she said, she thinks she was looked at with such vitriol because of the fact that every woman who's ever been cheated on by a guy in her entire life has a mascot now. And it's her. Like, that's their person to hate. Because you know what I'm saying? It's like he could have been happily married. And here's this harlot who's coming in and trying to steal him away from his beautiful wife. And they're putting themselves in the place of his wife, but not putting themselves in the place of the dirt that the husband's doing. You know what I mean? So they're just blaming her because it's like, I had a man who did the same thing to me. So she's just like that Jezebel that did that to me. So everybody's blaming.
I never understood that. I never understood why but the thing is like, if somebody is cheating on you with somebody else, why are you mad at that other person? They have nothing to do with your life.
Nothing to do. Your person knows they're with you.
Brought them into y'all's life.
Exactly. Your person knows that they're committed to you. So if you should be mad at anybody, it should be your person. You don't know what your person told that other person.
Exactly.
Make that person say, oh, he could have lied through his teeth. He might have told the truth. You don't know. He might have said, look, I'm married, but I'm looking for a fling. You want to be my fling? Maybe that's what he said, but more than likely, because most women would probably be like, why would I want to be the fling unless there's maybe work relationships can go in that direction. And maybe that's it too. All these women might have had husbands who say they work late hours and do this, and they're thinking something's going on. And now you see this woman like, see, my man was probably like that. He's saying he's doing this and he's at a Coldplay concert, So she just said that she thinks she gets all that. Women, she said, have been the absolute worst to her. Men, she hears a little from, but not much. But she said women have been like threatening, will come into her face and say stuff to her. So I'm just like, but anyway. So so that is the Oprah podcast. And so you can find that anywhere you find podcasts and hear the story of her and Kristin Cabot. Okay. All right. Well, on that note, we went over a little bit as we sometimes do, but I was short last week. So, we only had 30 minutes last week. So really, we haven't done too bad.
Yeah,
So
we're good.
I'm so glad my Sestra's back.
Yay.
He's here. I was telling them I was gone 1 week. You couldn't do last week, and we didn't want to do 2 full weeks of not doing anything.
Yeah.
But all right, everybody, that is it for this week's episode of
Sestra-Tainment.
Have a great one. We will talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.